The tile industry is a great, wealthy industry. There's a lot of people making a great living as a tile installer. The reason they are so successful and tile is such a great industry to be in is because, you know what? At the end of the day, we are all selling a luxury product. I've said it before and I'm going to continue to say it. We sell something that people want, something they desire. We do not sell something they necessarily need. Every single time your phone rings, the person on the other end of that phone line is shopping for a luxury item, whether they know it or not. Now it's true, and I understand there's a lot of people with champagne taste on a beer budget, right? But nonetheless, they are shopping for a luxury item. So it's up to us as business owners to present ourselves in that way and to find our right clientele and sell our services. But what can help us to do that? How can we do that? Today, I'm going to be talking about how to set goals and how to put systems in place to achieve them. Hello, tile friends. Welcome back to another episode of Tile Money. This is the podcast where we discuss the business of being a tile contractor. My name is Luke Miller, and I am on a mission to help tile contractors grow profitable, sustainable businesses. I started this podcast, Tile Money, with the intention of helping fellow tile contractors, and I've already been blessed to make that happen, but I feel like I'm just getting started. I want to thank you personally for listening and supporting this podcast. Thank you for letting me know that what I've been doing is helping you. Thank you for sharing your stories and participating in our Facebook group. Thanks to your support and participation, I've been able to attract some great sponsors, and they share my values and they've partnered with me on my mission to help you. Before we get started with this episode, I want to take a few minutes to thank my partners. First of all, the National Tile Contractors Association. They are one of the nation's largest and oldest professional organization for tile contractors. Yes, they've been doing this since 1947. Isn't that incredible? The NTCA is focused on assisting their members grow and operate their businesses. And I can say this with confidence because I've been getting to know the people inside the NTCA who are working to better the industry. And many of them have actually built great, successful companies. And you know what I say all the time? You are the equivalent of the 5 people you're associating with. So if you're looking to grow your business, improve on your business, if you have some goals, if you see businesses you would like to be like, the best thing you can do is to join the NTCA and start meeting these people. Go to these events like Coverings and Total Solutions Plus, and you will find your 5 new best friends. I guarantee it. And you're going to be able to start to transform your business by associating with these 5 new friends. Another sponsor, Laticrete International. Now, Laticrete is a family-owned, customer-focused company. I love this company. It was started by a tile contractor, a tile installer. He saw the need for innovation in our industry. The founder, Henry Rothberg, he invented thinset right in his garage, literally in his garage, right here in the USA. How cool is that? Today, Laticrete continues to push the boundaries. They continue to innovate. They continue to lead the way in making products safer for us. They have a handful of options of silica-free thinsets and grouts, of course. Over the years, they've maintained their family values. That's one of the things I love about this company the most. If you ever get the chance to visit any of their factories, you're going to know exactly what I mean by that statement and their family values. And if you attend these trade shows, it's not uncommon to see the CEO, David Rothberg. He's working the booths, he's hanging out. And if you see him, I urge you, do what I did and go up and introduce yourself. He won't know you from Adam, but he will take a sincere interest in you and your business, no matter how small. Incredible. I love it. Crossville. Crossville is my newest sponsor. Crossville is America's leading manufacturer. I'm glad they came on board. They provide porcelain tile, glass, natural stone, interior, exterior, all applications, of course, even countertops. A lot of their products, what I love, a lot of their products are made right here in the United States. Their tile products are sustainable and designed to last a lifetime. They're quality stuff. You know, another thing I love about them, they are leading the way in both not only manufacturing beautiful gauged tile panels, those huge panels, but they're also donating time. Noah Chitty is working hard. He's exerting a lot of energy and helping to write these installation standards as we see this becoming more and more popular, these GPTP, gauged porcelain tile panels. So I say if you're looking for a tile manufacturer who you want to partner with, who consistently can produce high quality, easy to work with tile, I highly suggest you check out Crossville. And links to all my sponsors will be in my show notes. All right, so back to this luxury trade, this thought that we're in a luxury trade right now. Just because we're in this luxury trade, selling both our talents and our hard work to people with champagne taste, just because other people have made good money in this industry, and I know I said all that in the intro, does that automatically mean we are going to be profitable? Does that automatically mean we're going to be an overnight success and be able to charge whatever we want? Well, no, of course not. I know you're smarter than that, and I would be lying if I tried to tell you that that was the case. It is a great industry, but it's going to take some work to establish yourself as the expert. It's not, there's no business out there that's a turnkey, effortless endeavor. You're not going to hear about it. So even the most successful businesses today, in no matter what market, they're going to have to continue to work on their continued success. One of the things that successful business owners do, besides just working hard, right, is working smarter. We say that a lot, but what does that mean? Well, they're putting plans in place. They're setting goals for themselves, targets that they plan on achieving in some set amount of time. It could be annual, and they have smaller targets to help them achieve those annual goals. So you have to have the long-term goals as well as the short-term goals. Sometimes you're going to find yourself falling short of their big goals, and maybe that holds people back from wanting to set big goals. But then again, falling just a few percent, 10% short of a lofty goal will still put you in a way better position than just setting no goals and just kicking back and just seeing what happens. So I want to ask you, do you set goals for your business? Do you have strategies and systems in place to achieve these goals and to continue to monitor them as the months and weeks go by? So today I want to show you, and we're going to hear from a couple of good goal setters. First of all, I want to revisit an interview I did with Steve Rausch. Now, unfortunately, last summer, we lost Steve to death far too soon, and I am forever grateful for Steve. He was generous with his time and his mentorship. He was very generous with his knowledge. He was a very successful man and a successful business owner. So let's have a listen to what he said and hear why he believed goal setting was one of the most important things you can do for both business and your personal life.
You write those goals down, you put them in paper. But before we do that, I want to give you a principle. And I want you to write the principle down because I think this is probably as important or more important than anything else that we're going to discuss. And that principle is your decisions will shape your destiny. Your decisions will shape your destiny. The future is only what you choose to make of it. So every day, your little decisions will either take you more to the life you want or to additional disasters by default.
So did you hear Steve talk about this simple principle? Your decisions will shape your destiny. Yes, we have the power to shape our future. Setting goals is part of this. It forces you to make some decisions. Instead of just leaving life up to chance, you get to decide what you want your future to look like. I think that is so cool. And that is something that I've been learning over the years and working on myself. So what type of things do you want? What type of things should you be writing down for your goals? In the interview, Steve said something. He said, your goals need to reflect what keeps you up at night. So what he meant by this was, if there's a problem in your business or life that is keeping you up at night, giving you restless nights, that needs to be addressed right away. For instance, A lot of you right now have told me you have too much work. You're maybe juggling 3 or 4 jobs. You're bouncing around, you're understaffed. So your immediate goal would be to hire another tile installer, or perhaps you don't want to hire anyone. Then a goal might be to improve on scheduling and controlling your workflow, maybe communication with the customers, right? On the other hand, some of you had said you are having sleepless nights because you don't have enough work. The phone's not ringing enough. So your immediate goal would be different. Your immediate goal would be, I need to get that phone to ring. I need to market myself. I need to learn to advertise, market, whatever I have to do to get that phone to ring. Get out there, knock on doors. So if you're convinced that you need to be setting some sort of goals, but you're kind of questioning what the formula is, Steve's given us a great formula. Let's have a listen.
I'm going to give you a formula for a New Year's resolution. Now, it's worked for me for over 50 years. That formula is real simple. Smart, small goals plus consistency plus time gives you a radical difference. Smart, small goals plus consistency plus time give you a radical difference.
I love this formula. Smart, small goals plus consistency plus time equals a radical difference. How can we do this?
I will give you 4 overarching goals. These are very big goals that I want you to consider, but I want them to be specific. I want you to set a goal for intellectual growth. Set a goal for health growth, for your health. Set a goal for your relationship growth. And set a goal for your business growth. Now, this is where I said earlier, we're going to tie these in, Luke, to personal versus business are all going to be consistent. So you don't have to live one life at work and one life at home.
So did you notice there's 4 overarching goals: intellectual growth, health growth, relationships growth, and business growth. And I love how Steve said that it's so important that you have to have the personal goals, the first 3 ones, set in order to reach your business goals, because they're interlocking. And I couldn't agree more that our personal lives need to mesh with our business. Our personal life needs to be going as smoothly as possible. You don't want to overwhelm yourself here. All you need is these 4 big goals. And then you're going to have some smaller goals. You're going to have daily, weekly, and monthly, maybe even quarterly goals, but never have more than 5 items at a time under that one large goal. So 5 small items under each large goal at the most. Reviewing these smaller goals regularly is going to help you stay relative to accomplishing your large goal. It's going to help you achieve that large one. So how do you decide on these small goals, the ones that will help you reach your overarching goals? Check it out what Steve says here.
Bring this down now and close it out. What are the vital functions to my business, whether it's tile installer, tile dealer, tile distributor, tile manufacturer? What are the vital functions to my business? Again, no more than 5 vital functions. And you're going to do and focus on them every day. Plus, how many hats do I have to wear? Okay, what roles do I have to have in my business? Whether that's prospecting for new business, that's a different role than going out and setting the tile. Negotiating a contract or opening up a new account with, say, a builder, a different skill, a different role. Boy, the big one, managing the daily business and following up with your existing account. You know, that's almost a full-time job that the tile installer can't do in addition to do his tile installer job. And then, of course, the administration of the business and financial details.
I love this. So again, 5 vital functions. Steve is talking about the smaller goals that are under each one of those 4 overarching goals. So come up with these 5 vital functions that'll help you reach your big goal. They all have to help you get there. Break down every hat that you wear in the business and put some goals there. It's fairly common, and I understand that it's fairly common this kind of year. People are setting a lot of goals, New Year's resolutions. Not a lot of people, keep them. A lot of people have already broken them, and we're not even in February. So how to actually make this possible and achieve this and see this come to fruition? Well, Steve gave us some great advice for not just setting these goals, but also, like I'm saying, following through. And in a year's time, you can look back. Listen to this little snippet.
A peak performance partner is somebody that you can meet with, maybe in the same business, maybe not, but somebody that's already made it, if you will, somebody that's a little more professional. I met yesterday afternoon with my peak performance partner for my 401k investments. And I sat and talked to him about what I'm doing on my investments, and he made specific suggestions to me about how I should change that. So those types of things are important, especially in your business.
So I love this. Find your peak performance partner, Steve says. Now, this is a person who you can meet with on a regular basis and discuss your goals. Find someone who has made it, someone who is further along than you and who has time to give you advice. This can even be over the phone or the internet. It's great if you can find someone in person, but just make sure that you pick someone who will keep you motivated. Make sure you pick someone who will actually hold you to your goals. So if you didn't get a chance to listen to those 2 episodes, I encourage you to go back and check them out. They were around December 19th and the 21st of 2018. Steve gives a lot of great tips in those 2 episodes. He's very enjoyable to listen to. I miss him dearly. I'm thankful that he was so generous and left us with a lot of his knowledge. He wrote a lot of articles on the internet you can find, and even several interviews like this one. So next, I want to talk to you about a few examples of people who are actually doing this, practicing this goal setting, combined with strategies to meet their goals. And we will hear from another clip, but first, let's hear some industry news. So this industry news is sponsored by the NTCA. I am excited. At the end of this month, the end of January here, I'm flying out to Vegas, going to TICE, the International Surface event. So I want to ask you, have you thought about attending one of these industry-wide events? I really want to encourage you to attend one of these events. Make it a goal of yours. I used to think that the day I would be able to attend one of these events would be the day that I really made it. I was, years down the road, almost retired. Well, I was wrong, because I needed to be attending these events from early on in my career, because attending these events is a priority, because it's here at these events you will actually meet the people that you want to be associating with, the people that are going to put you to the next level. And the key there is to be social. Go there and meet people. If you have trouble being social, I get it. I can be an introvert at times too, believe it or not. Reach out to me, make plans to meet up with me or somebody else online. Heck, offer to buy me a beer. I'll never refuse that. Most people wouldn't, right? But whatever the case is, just make plans to be there. So you will meet people inside this industry that will put you where you want to be and help you get there. In my introduction, I talked about this. I talked about those 5 people. Well, these events are the best place to shake some hands and make some real life connections for those 5 people. And for you NTCA members, I encourage you to show up a day early, a day before the event, and sit on some of the NTCA meetings. The TCNA Handbook Committee meeting is a great place to geek out. I know a lot of you really geek out on this stuff. And what's cool is you're going to be in a concentrated room of only like 50 or 100 of some of the most successful tile contractors in the United States. And when I say most successful, please don't be afraid and assume that I'm talking about the largest and the biggest companies out there. Now, you will meet those people, but there's plenty of other people. There's some one-person companies who are very successful. Remember, everybody's definition of success is different. So A few years ago, before I started attending these events, I used to think that the only people that were at these events and the only people that were at, inside the NTCA and working at these things were mega large companies. And I was afraid. I was, kind of a little bit intimidated. I thought that we would be so far removed from each other, from our realities, that we would have nothing to talk about. But I was wrong about that as well. Not only are, these people happy and generous with their time, they want to share their knowledge. They want to help others. And that's actually a natural thing for humans to do. It's natural for humans to want to share their knowledge and want to pass on what they've learned to the next generation. So I really urge you, again, get out there and just put yourself out there. You have nothing to lose at all. I guarantee it. It's a tax write-off to go to these things. And if you take your family, most of them are at a really nice area, So if you haven't been to one, make sure you kind of contemplate it. Maybe you want to put it as a goal. I like Total Solutions Plus, TSP. That is the industry's business networking event. It's a little bit smaller, a little bit more personal, but that one's going to be in the fall, and that one's going to be in Southern California, 2020, this fall. Coverings will be held before that in April, and that's in New Orleans. That's a fun place. And if you've been inspired and you're all fired up by what I've said and you can't wait, and it's before January 28th. January 28th in Las Vegas is TICE, or Surfaces. So I might see you there. I'm going to be at all three of those events. I'd love to see you there. I'd love to meet you. All right, let's get back to the episode now. Let's hear from someone who has been setting goals and using strategies to grow his business. This is a clip from an interview with Malcolm Campbell. He uses strategies to grow. He owns Midwest Mosaic out of Toledo, Ohio. Listen to Malcolm as he describes how he grew his company.
We had talked about the financial crisis, in 2008. Right. And when my phone started to ring again in 2010, things were pretty lean.
Right.
And I had a hatchback and a wet saw.
Yeah.
And now we're at, about an organization of about 10 to 12 people.
Wow.
And we're at about a steady state of it for about the last 4 years. So we're really getting our groove.
Yeah. Good.
So if you heard, it was after the recession, he was working out of his hatchback. And now, not too that long ago, at the time of this recording, he was employing 10 people or more. He was able to do this by setting goals and using strategies. Listen to this next clip as Malcolm describes how he used one simple strategy to reach one of his lofty goals.
So while I was at the university getting a business degree, I met some people. They don't know how to lay tile, but They went on to have careers in human resources. And I said, a year ago, I have this problem. I know that I need to be 5-star, but just like the pipe dream that I have to go work with Jimmy Reed, I had a pipe dream that I wanted to get the 5-star because I believed that it was going to really help the type of business that I was going to get compared from where I'm at.
Okay.
I mean, we grind it out on the Arby's jobs. Anybody that's done this type of commercial knows that it's very competitive.
Yeah.
It's a low bid. You can still show your value.
Yeah.
Okay. And if you build a good team, the budgets are there, and talented people that work well together, that work well with others, can make good money traveling and doing this competitive tile work. But having done the big union stuff with the Trendells, back in the 2010s and the 1990s,
okay,
there's a whole other market there. And right in the specs, they write right in the front end that they want 5-star contractors.
Okay.
Yeah.
Excellent. So there it is.
I networked with my friends and said, hey, I need you to help me carry this load.
Yeah.
And so they took it on as consultants, and they did a fantastic job filling out the application and getting the information out of me on a timely basis.
So Malcolm had the goal to be this 5-star contractor. He called it a pipe dream. He knew that getting this 5-star designation would help him land more work and put him further ahead. It would improve his business, right? But he admitted he needed some help to fill out the paperwork. He wasn't, too keen on doing it himself. Did you catch what simple strategy he used to get that done? he asked for help. I know, it's crazy. He leaned on some friends that he had met in college who were not in the trades, but he knew their value. And all he did was simply ask them for help to fill out the paperwork. And as a side note here, he did mention that they came on as consultants. So I'm thinking, he did pay them. He had to invest in his business because he knew that they could do the job quicker and cleaner and more efficiently than he could himself. And Malcolm actually has a long history of hiring people for their specialty talents. And he thinks outside the box when he hires people. That means he is investing in his business with money, but he's saving himself time, valuable time that he can spend in his business on his talents. So if you want to check that full episode out, that interview was released on May 11th. And you can find Malcolm's business on Instagram at Midwest_Mosaic_Inc. All right, friends. If I haven't convinced you of the power of goal setting yet, here's a couple more real life examples from people who are actually using goals, and they share this inside the Facebook group. The first example is from a great business leader, Linda Monier. She has a great business. She says, if one of your goals is to sell showers at a top dollar, put a goal of practicing your selling skills by role-playing once a day. See, small goals under the big goal. You should be selling value, not cost, if you want a premium price. The way you do that is to practice. Write out a roadmap for talking with a customer. Establish value early in the process. Memorize it and practice it. When you first schedule a sales call with your customer by phone, outline how your sales roadmap goes. Mrs. Smith, we're going to sit down at your kitchen table and go over a few things before we see your bathroom. I'm going to talk to you about the products I use that give you peace of mind that you will never deal with expensive moisture damage in your shower. Okay, I love it. So much value packed in here. And she goes on. Then when you call to confirm the appointment, you remind them of how your process goes. This is actually worth reading a few times here, or listening to a few times, I should say. Then when you actually sit with the customer and present them a copy of your contractor's license and insurance up front, you are differentiating yourself right off the bat. Then you show them samples of whatever system you use. Build in time to educate the customer as part of your standard sales process. You're not quoting the job, you're actually solving a problem for them as their partner. So I love how she describes this process. She talked about the big goal. You want to sell a more expensive shower, a more expensive product, right? Well, you have to put these little goals in place. Set these smaller daily goals of practicing your sales pitch. There was a ton of other value in there as well, Linda. Thank you for sharing that. Sean Roddy, he's another great businessman. He's got a great business. He's got a great attitude. He says, goals can be different for anyone. Being successful was one of mine, so working hard was just an attribute to get me there. I always set goals and achieve and set another. My first goal when I started my business was to buy a brand new truck by myself. I grew up poor, only buying used vehicles for $1,000. This sounds like me, Sean. Have been in the same boat. So this was a huge step for me. Once I bought that truck, my goal was to pay it off early. I paid it off in less than 3 years. That was a $60,000 truck. Congratulations. Constantly building and bettering a goal is the key, he says. Some of my goals have been materialistic, but hey, they've gotten me where I'm at. Great advice, Sean. I love that you set your big goals. You continue to set goals to get you there. Great tip. Speaking of tips, we've got the Tile Money tip, and I thought it would be applicable to stay with this goal theme. This is sponsored by Laticrete. This is something Ron Nash posted in the Facebook group. He is always posting fire, really good info. He says, I recommend using the SMART method, and that's an acronym. So what is the SMART goal setting? S is for specific, M is for measurable, actionable, relevant, and then time. So smart goal setting brings structure and trackability to your goals and objectives. Instead of vague resolutions, smart goal setting creates verifiable trajectories towards a certain objective. So very similar to Steve Rausch's stuff, right? Clear milestones and an estimation of goals attainability. S is for specific. What exactly do you want to achieve? The more specific your description, the bigger the chance you'll get exactly that. Smart goal setting clarifies the difference between I want to be a millionaire someday and I want to make $10,000 a month for the next 10 years selling tile installations. See the difference? Very specific. M stands for measurable. Measurable goals means that you identify exactly what it is you will see, hear, and feel when you reach your goal. It means breaking your goal down into measurable elements. You'll need concrete evidence. Perfect. A is for attainable. Is your goal attainable? Great question. That means investigating whether the goal really is acceptable to you. You weigh the effort, time, and other costs your goal will take against the profits and the other obligations and the other priorities you have in life. R is for relevant. Is reaching your goal relevant to you? That's a great question. Do you actually want to run a multinational business, be famous, have 3 children, and have a busy full-time job? Only you can decide that for yourself, whether you have the personality for that type of lifestyle. The main questions you have to ask yourself: why do you want to be reaching this goal? What is the objective behind the goal? And will this goal really achieve that? So you might think that having a bigger team will make your company perform better, but will it really? Great questions. I love this. T, timely. Keep the timeline realistic and flexible. That way you can keep morale high. Being too stringent on the timely aspect of your goal can have the reverse effect of making the learning path of achieving your goals and objectives into a hellish race against time. So that would cause you basically not to achieve anything when you don't reach your goal because the timeline was too short. So great tip, Ron. Thank you, Laticrete, for sponsoring that Tile Money tip. Friends, I sincerely hope you benefited from today's episode. I encourage you to head over to my website, tilemoney.com, and see for yourself what I'm working on. On my website, you will find links to the podcast throughout the various different apps they're on. And you will also be able to check out what I'm working on, what's coming soon. Friends, stay profitable out there.